Coalition governments in South Africa are in disarray and ordinary citizens are bearing the brunt of unstable partnerships. A two-day national dialogue is being held to look at how to stabilise fractured coalitions. Our senior reporter Siphamandla Goge is in Cape Town and has been monitoring this dialogue for us. Siphamandla, all of this taking place when we're, I suppose we can say, months away from the next polls, even though at national level. What's the atmosphere been like amongst these in these conversations with people from various political affiliations and civil society?
One would say when it comes to different political parties, the atmosphere has been that of a concern. These are the political parties and leaders that are not sure whether the electorate will give them outright majority to be able to form government. So it's a gathering of people who are concerned about their political interests. I guess that's what makes it ironic in a way, and also in a way say, well, are they negotiating in good faith for the better good and in the interest of the South African public, or they are negotiating only to save and share power among themselves? Of course, they are politicians and they lead political parties, so their only preoccupation and their only number one goal is to attain political power, which will enable them to form government. So today and tomorrow, they will be busy discussing that in the event that the electorate does not give any of them enough majority to be able to form a government, what do they do? But they are also reflecting on the current chaotic status quo in the municipalities. I'm talking about hung councils across the country, or in a number of municipalities across the country, particularly in Gauteng, whereby you've got a number of metros there being in disarray simply because there is no working formula of these working arrangements or agreement. They don't want to call it coalitions because they say coalitions are formalized, but you have seen how unstable those hung councils are, and that has affected the voters, the people of those municipalities, and service delivery has been severely affected. So this dialogue, it's a national dialogue on coalition governments. It's looking at what needs to be done to ensure that the ones that are currently underway, they function properly, there is no instability, which will lead to the slow pace of the provision of basic services. And in the event that come 2024 general election, there is no one with an outright majority, what needs to happen? There are a number of proposals to say these coalitions, they need to be formalized, you need a legislation, and you need everything to be in place in terms of the law. There are proposals to say, well, you need to deal with the issue of the threshold. What happens in terms of numbers if and when there is a party that is the largest in terms of the votes but not the majority? The ones that would receive the highest votes should be the ones that would be able to automatically lead the formation of the coalition government. Other parties disagree with that, and those parties, they include the Freedom Front Plus as well as Good. They are saying, well, that's like a bullying tactic, because the fact that parties may need to negotiate, that alone tells you that there should be no party that will say we received the highest number of votes. So everyone must be treated equally. But the former mayor of the city of Johannesburg, who's the current Deputy Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Pakstau, says no matter what happens, the interests of the people should be at the center of whatever coalition deal or agreement is put in place. Let's take a listen to him.
Second is, of course, to encourage our provincial governments, which are responsible for the establishment of local government, to amend the establishment notices in terms of Section 12 of the Municipal Structures Act, because that would enable us to create an environment in which you change from an executive mayoral system to an executive committee system in terms of the Section 12 notice. So we certainly should be advocating for provincial governments to consider amending Section 12 notices, and therefore creating the necessary stability in local government. Because right now what we're all concerned about is stability in the system of local government. So these amendments should be put to a fore, so that we're able to consider them together with councils, but all of civil society participating in a conversation around creating the stability that we so much need in our municipalities. And therefore, we certainly think that these amendments would assist in creating stability in local government. Thank you very much.
Siphamandla, the Deputy President of the country, Paul Mashatile, has graced the dialogue with his presence. What did we hear from him?
Of course, he is the one who delivered the keynote address, being the leader of government business, the Deputy President of the Republic. He was the keynote speaker here. His address and focus was mainly of, trying to avert a crisis. These political parties that are meeting here, they are doing what we can call a throw forward. Psychologically, they are preparing themselves to say, this reality is upon us. It may not be now, but eventually it will happen. How do we deal with that? And the way that Paul Mashatile has dealt with it has been saying, well, we need to ensure that we put the interests of the electorate at the center of whatever we are doing. Let's take a listen to him.
This national dialogue will not stop after tomorrow. It is just the beginning. It is the launch of the dialogue that must spread across our nation as we collectively grapple with the most crucial question: what do we do going forward to serve our people better?
Siphamandla Goge bringing us that update from Cape Town. We thank him for that.